Hello, it's Small Biz David, and we're here today to discuss another chapter in our digital video book, How Do You Answer These 100 Plus Questions About Your 2015 Small Business. Pretty cool graphics, huh, Ronnie? Oh, yeah, David.
Yes, looks
That's
nice.
that's a rough design, and we're going to clean it up. Well, it comes from the book that I did about 7, 8 years ago, and we're updating the book, and I wanted to use the same cover and just update it. So that's why it looks that way. Uh, I'm going to take a little different approach today than I have in other chapters of the book. I'm calling this a bonus chapter of the book because we have uh, absolutely the most distinguished panel of folks that is in existence in Google Plus today. I want to thank you all for coming and participating, supporting the project. These folks, they definitely are Google Plus thought leaders. Between cumulatively speaking, they have over 250,000 followers, which is an interesting number, but I think more provocative than that number is that cumulatively they have 45 million Google Plus views, whatever Google Plus view is defined as. But it's the point is we have thought leaders today, and what I'm going to do is one by one introduce them, and they will share with you what we affectionately call 60-second elevator speech is. When you have 60 seconds to describe who you are and what it is that you do. And then after each one is done, I have a somewhat of a customized question for them. So we'll go back and deal with those, and then we will have some group discussion. We will do this alphabetically is the easiest way to do that. So it looks like Ronnie Bincer is up with his 60 seconds.
60 seconds. Go ahead, start the timer, I guess. So,
Go.
hi, my name is Ronnie Bincer. I have a background of software training, and I use that to enable and assist businesses, small, large, and individuals to learn and use this wonderful communication tool, what we're using right now, called Hangouts and Hangouts on Air. It helps you communicate your message in one of the most efficient ways and build trust with your followers very, very efficiently.
Wonderful. And as a sidebar to what Ronnie just said, Ronnie, and we'll hear a little bit about it in a little while, has an outstanding community that he has built in Google Plus. It's called the Hangout Mastery, and I am proud to say I was like one of your charter members, wasn't I, Ronnie?
That is correct. You're one of the very first
And,
ones.
unfortunately, I don't spend all the time I should be spending learning from the community, because it definitely is a learning community, and I just don't spend enough time. But I have a lot of friends that do, so we want to thank you for that. Okay, let's, as I said, I'm going to come back to your individual question. I guess next up is Christine DeGraff. Begins with a D.
Hey, hey. Not for long. It'll be Christine Taylor sometime this year.
All
But
right.
anyway.
Is that a goal and objective for
That
2015?
is, actually, that is. So my name is Christine DeGraff, and I'm one of the co-founders of Circloscope, which is a circle management tool for Google+. And if anyone's wondering what is a circle management tool, think of like how Twitter has the Twitter management tools for follow, unfollow. Circloscope is similar to that. And while we don't put a lot of emphasis on just building a follower count for the sake of having a large number, or building, or views just for the sake of having views, with Circloscope, you can target relevant, engaged active followers that you can proactively reach out to and hope, have them learn about your brand and engage with you. I have a 17-year background in web development and SEO and internet marketing, and I also work for Ben at Steady Demand. So pretty cool.
Is this an incestuous group we've put together today? Wow. Christine, once again, as a sidebar, I don't know that I have ever said this to you personally, but it was just a little over a year ago that you had Project 31, and you've surprised me with including me in that list of 31.
Yes.
And I believe at that time, I don't know, I'm sure you don't remember exactly, but you're a numbers person, so maybe you do. I had, I think, about 500 followers back at that time, because one of your rules was it had to be under 1,000 followers.
Under 2,500.
Oh, it was under 2,500? Well, I would no longer qualify for the group because I exceeded 2,500 followers in a year. How about that?
Wonderful. That's wonderful. And for most people here, for business, followers is a goal, because that's how you're going to get reach. That's how you're going to spread your message, is by having followers. So anyone who says they don't want any followers, they're obviously not here for business. If you are here for business, you're going to want followers.
We'll ask later on what are those things you need to do to get followers? Okay. Next up for an elevator speech is Ben Fisher.
Hello, everybody. How you doing? My name is, as David said, Ben Fisher, and I'm the co-founder of Steady Demand. A little bit about my background. Basically got started back in, well, technically you could say in the 80s, actually, when it comes to internet marketing. That was more of the BBS days. But realistically, about 1994. And in 1994, I was living up in the town, Flagstaff, Arizona, and started basically publishing a website and started assisting businesses kind of understand and come to grips with what the internet was and why you should put a URL on your business card or put it on your outside of your shop, and kind of understand how you could leverage the internet to assist your business and enable you, as Ronnie was saying, to really become successful. Over the years, have done SEO, basically worked in the web hosting industry. I've helped pretty much almost every single major hosting company that's in the world with their SEO and internet marketing efforts. In 2010, though, I stopped doing SEO completely, mainly because most of my clients wanted to go back and kind of do SEO the wrong way. They wanted to use the black hat type of techniques, get links, etc. And that's when I started to really take a look at Google+. I've always been a beta tester of Google products and saw how personalized search was really going to affect businesses down the line. So started tinkering with it, getting into the guts with it, experimenting with it, and basically ended up forming a company out of it a couple of years ago. Like Christine was saying, she's part of our company. And we found out really quickly how basically Google Plus can be utilized to affect almost every single aspect of an organization, whether it comes to customer service, customer acquisition, branding, authority, and even down to, of course, helping with SEO indirectly. And so, yeah, that's what our company does, is we basically enable companies to be successful on Google+.
Well, thank you. A little longer than a minute, but that's okay. Because you're an all right guy, Ben Fisher.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, Jason, you're last in line, or maybe fortunately, you had a chance to listen to the other folks, but your name does begin with a W, Jason Weiser. So if someone were to come up to you and you had 60 seconds to get their attention about who you are and what it is that you do, what would you say?
My name is Jason Weiser, and I'm the CEO of Weiser Sites LLC, which is a general contracting agency for small businesses, specializing in online marketing. And what we do is we manage your project in relatively 5 phases: design, development, optimization, marketing, maintenance. And we start by looking at your resources, your time, your money, or your time, your budget, and then we together will develop a plan of action to get your products and service to market with a plan that fits your needs and your goals. And we have an in-house development team, marketing team, and we work closely with a group of other vetted vendors that we've met, a couple of which are on the panel today. But we've used Christine and Circuloscope on a number of our clients with great success. But and we work with some of these other vetted vendors for things like ads management, SEO. But bottom line is our job is to save you time and headaches so that you don't have to go out looking for a bunch of different vendors. Just you got one-stop shopping, and we're going to help you find. You get access to our Rolodex, essentially.
Well, thank you, Jason. I'm going to start with you with the individual one-on-one questions. And as I was communicating with the panel, you had shared with me, and I'm a big proponent of small business keywords. That every question, and as you know, I'm about questions. Well, every question has keywords. That's how you zero in on what it is that the information that you're trying to get. And you, interestingly enough, gave me a couple of them, and the one that got my attention the most was integrated marketing and sales strategy. And the reason that that got my attention in today's discussion was that we all know that Google Plus technology is wonderful for marketing. Ronnie said it very eloquently in his introduction, and a lot of people scratch their heads about the sales part of it. So my question to you would be, on Google Plus, can you have an integrated marketing and sales strategy?
Well, it's interesting. I wrote a post about this that got quite a bit of discussion on it, very polarized actually, because my comment was that social media and Google Plus, social media is not for selling. It's for engagement. That's where you kind of birth your relationships that will then go on to sell. So, but then I also wrote another article that said stop being social and start selling. So it was kind of polar to the other one. And that article, with a little video to it, that article was really about how we spend a lot of time marketing and spinning our wheels in social, but at the end of the day, have we monetized that time? So the point of having those two articles kind of balanced against each other is if we are too aggressive in our selling, of course, if we come onto social media and Google Plus in particular, and we're just like sell, 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 people are going to shut down. People aren't going to, listen. We know this is, everybody's going to tell us this, right? I'm not telling you anything new. But on the other side, too, if we spend all the time on social media just generating audiences and curating time engagement, I mean, some people's threads, especially here on Google+, I mean, engagement is expected. And you write a really great post, you're going to be in that comment stream all day long. Mr. Jingles is just going to be dragging you away from your business. And so you just got to be conscious about that. You need to find that balance between my engagement and building an audience and when it's time to sell. And I think that really social media is kind of the tip of the funnel. It's the very beginning phase where we start to meet people to then drive them, of course, to our website, web properties, and then through there we could have, sales objectives there, or certainly onto our email marketing. And then as we push them down, we then get more aggressive with our sales.
Okay, thank you, Jason. And before I ask you the second question, I'm going to throw open for discussion. Does anybody have on the panel have anything to add to what Jason said?
Yeah, I'll actually go ahead and add one little thing there real quick. There's definitively, I think, there's a harmony between social and marketing. And one of the things that Jason pointed out there really quickly is to be able to engage, be engaged, be able to disengage yourself, but to get somebody into some other form of marketing. So when we're talking about other forms of marketing, like email marketing lists are a perfect example of that. You can be a thought leader and you can really get into a conversation on a thread. But at the end of the day, you want to try and get somebody into your email marketing list if they want further information. But as far as adding value to what Jason was just saying, is that when you have followers and you're starting to have a one-on-one conversation with those people, with your followers, one of the tips that I like to give is that if somebody has followed you back, say specifically on Google+, is go ahead and ask them some type of an open-ended question. It's a very easy, it's kind of almost an effortless thing to do, and give them that time. If they are potentially a good prospect for you, then that person's going to come back with some kind of response. And it could be something as simple question as, you know, well, why do you think Google Plus is important for your business? And that might reveal some kind of a pain point. You might have one or two exchanges back and forth there and say, you know, hey, if you'd like, I have a great guide that you can opt into that gives you some Google Plus tips, and that might help you along on your journey. But the response could come back and be, hey, I'm having a hard time building my followers, or I don't understand how to balance my page, my personal profile, and my business page. Well, you've just uncovered a pain point there. And actually, you can get into the selling process, but it's not a push sale. You've pulled that to you now.
I think, you know, it's probably a long selling cycle, the environment, but we buy from folks that we like, we trust, and those are the kinds of things that it's a wonderful environment to build those things. And has anybody heard of anybody that's doing a out of this world kind of selling job from what they are doing in Google Plus? Are there some case studies out there, Christine?
Well, Circloscope is, but you know,
well,
it's a, you know, it's we're not an official Google Plus product, but our product is for Google Plus. So obviously, you know, our sales are on a lot from Google Plus people. You know, it is a low-cost product, so we cannot have a long sales cycle, you know, one-on-one. But it is something that we're constantly using Google Plus and YouTube to educate people about circle management, about Google Plus, about, you know, marketing their business on Google Plus, and the relationships that I have built, you know, have helped with the word of mouth of this product, and have also, you know, connected with us with some influencers who endorse Circloscope, you know, to their communities, and so, you know, that's how we leveraged it. We use it a lot as a help. You know, we have a help desk, but tickets, you know, people come into our community and ask for help for the things that are simple to answer. We'll answer them there. Otherwise, we direct them to put in a ticket at our help desk. But usually, it's, you know, it's a great place to just teach. Is what we basically use the platform for, is to help educate people about circle management and you know, managing their page and ways to grow it. You know, we I have done some case studies, and I've worked with a lot of brand pages here on Google Plus, and it, you know, there are some that are very successful, but it depends on their goals. You know, it depends on their goals and what they're trying to do here, what type of product they have. You know, I know some people here selling jewelry, for example, that, you know, just by toning down a little bit on the constant push, you know, it started out with, buy this, here's a bracelet, here's a necklace, blah, 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 you know, and that was kind of not working. And when they made it more social, and then, you know, in between the social part of it and engaging with, you know, their fans, showed products, but also educated on the properties of the, you know, the gemstones and things like that, they started making sales.
Well, it was somewhat of a rhetorical question. Of course, Ronnie, you have to be inside of Google Plus to buy Ronnie's product. Well, you don't have to be inside, but it's a product that is designed for you to be inside of Google Plus. So it was.
Yeah, I was gonna make a quick comment on.
Sure.
the deal, there's a difference between sales and marketing, and many people try to group those two together. And in this social realm, we're doing marketing more likely than sales, and part of the marketing does affect search engine optimization because Google Plus is Google. Therefore, activity you do here has the effect of optimizing what's going on with the web, and it's an easier way to get found. And if you're using this visual communication tool that we're using now called Hangouts, we have that ability to not only be known, liked, and trusted quicker, but also to interact with people. And one of the keys that I think is realizing there are certain tools within the social media realms. How do you use those tools, and what do you hope to get out of them is going to affect what your net results are. And if you are planning on leading it towards a funnel, part of that funnel means people probably need to get to the point where they trust you, because people buy from people they trust. So an interactive type activity tends to be more trust building. In other words, rather than you just talking and telling people about something, if you're able to think on your feet and address comments or questions interactively, I believe that really puts you up above in the trust factor area that then can lead to an easier sale process.
And here we are in our homes, probably for the most part, and we're meeting and talking in our homes. You don't get any closer to the heart of the matter than somebody's home. And we every day we meet folks in their homes and talk to them, and that's a great way to build trust.
One thing
yes.
I will add to what Ronnie just said there, and because you asked for a real world example, and that is in my experience. Now, yes, my business is around Google Plus, but 9 out of 10 business prospects that we do a hangout with as a consultation, we end up doing business with.
That's a pretty good batting average, Ben. So the objective is to do one-on-ones with 10,000 people for next year.
Yep, gonna have to just beef up the sales force.
There you go. Okay, second part of a question for you, Jason. And it's a little bit off track, but not really, because all of this ties together, I believe, in the answer that we're going to hear. But today you had a wonderful, just today, that's how current we are, you had a wonderful blog on 3 tools to test your website. And I wondered if you would share some of that information and as well as put it in the event stream links to, or just put a link to your blog in there, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, well, it was actually a share of a share, but it was you want to test your speed with a tool like Google iPage or Page View. I forget what the name of it is, but speed test. And then there's other ones. There's Pingdom tools, and then there's YSlow. Those are the other ones I really like for that. But then there is also it was the semantic tool. I should, really, I just shared that post with somebody else, but it is valuable because it's something that we all need to kind of go back and revisit. Speed, security, and our on-site semantics and SEOs, and let me go look for the article if somebody else pops in there. Okay.
Let's we've touched upon it a little bit, but I want to go back to Ben, Christine, and Ronnie, and we'll do it in reverse order. Ronnie, Christine, and Ben. But what I'd like to do is for you to share as much information as you want to. But did you meet the goals and objectives of your business ventures inside of Google Plus for 2014? And I'm not asking for proprietary information, just conceptually. And what do you plan to do for 2015 to move your businesses forward? Ronnie, you want to start?
You're starting with me? Okay. I wasn't sure if we were reversing or not. So the goals that I had for 2014 were met earlier on and didn't get to where I wanted to get by the end of the year. So I had different phases of goals, and I would say yes and no. Okay. But what it did is it prompted me to create a new area, which we're just about to launch actually Monday, coming up in just a few days. So I'll talk about it here. This might actually be the first public version of that.
Yay, we like that, those kind of announcements, Ryan. We like to be current.
Well, because my understanding is the majority of those that are viewing this are probably going to be viewing it as a video that isn't happening right in January of 2015. I have these two areas. Actually, I have three areas right now. Most people know about the two, and you're going to hear about the third in just a second here. The primary area where I've been doing most of my work is one-on-one consultations. And then that grew into what's called a Hangout Mastery, which is a membership group where people can come and gather together as a community, learn and help each other, learn from and help each other. And I do a lot of training in there. But it's less structured than a lot of new people want when they're trying to learn this Hangout tool and understand how to make it work for them. So I'm just about to launch a product which is called allabouthangouts.com, which allows you to learn in a very structured environment from what we call basics to total Hangout confidence. And it gives you the ability to watch videos as well as look through what I have created for you, which are study guides that tie to the video that explain and help you learn in a written way or a reading way above and beyond what the video does. So it gives multiple people, depending on their learning style, the ability to learn in a structured environment everything they're going to need to know to get started from zero to Hangout confidence, and that's called allabouthangouts.com. That's my new goal, is to make that thing incredibly awesome. And it will, in my mind, bring in people when they get past the foundational aspect of things. They're going to want to come into the Hangout Mastery and then start to experiment as well as learn with other people there.
And it's a subscription service, I'm sure?
It's a product that you purchase, and then you pay for it once, and now you have it. And you get to watch the videos as often as you need to or want to.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Christine, things are probably on a very, very fast pace with your business. So, were you satisfied? Well, stupid question. Were you satisfied with 2014? Did you meet your goals and objectives? And what do you plan for 2015?
Absolutely, we did. Circloscope actually started I believe about a year and a half before I came on board, which was a year ago. And we spent this past year completely redeveloping the tool, getting the business structure set up, getting the help structure set up, getting the marketing materials, rebranding, everything, So we officially relaunched in June. We, met our goals, exceeded our goals as far as sales goals for the year. We were falling a little short when it came to December, and we decided to do a 30% off end-of-year sale, which pretty much, just blew away our goals. At that point, everybody was like, "Hey, yeah, that's a good idea. We'll take it." We just actually started with renewals. Started here in January, and we were kind of holding our breath about that, because it's a yearly product. So how many renewals were we going to get was kind of a hold your breath kind of point. We did a sale. What we did was we decided, we give people a notice if they renew early, they get a discount. We give them a 48-hour window. That has, caused, a very high renewal rate. So we're very happy about that. Goals this year are just to continue improving the product. We have, in 2014, we integrated with NodeX, we integrated with CircleCount, which are some other Google Plus tools, and we're going to continue the integrations with them to make them even better, more useful. And my main goal for 2015 is to start trying to get out of the Google Plus bubble and bring new potential users from Twitter, from Facebook, from other social media platforms. And, our tool is something that businesses, when they first get started here with their page, they're going to need it right away. So to help them grow. So we want to reach those new people and even bring people in.
Interesting. Are you bringing in outside consulting help on Facebook marketing? And I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I'm just kind of curious. Or do you have?
I have a background, with Facebook ads and Facebook marketing. I'm a little out of it lately. I took about a year and a half off from Facebook, but so I need to bring myself up to speed.
Did you write any code in 2014?
Did I write any code? I did. I started getting back into web development. I finally got that bug back a little bit. It's I did my personal websites is basically what I'm doing.
Good. Okay, Ben. Boy, on demand, steady demand must have wonderful things happening there. You and I have actually talked about one aspect, which I have to have a further conversation with you on that. But what's going on? Did you meet your goals and objectives in 2014, and what's on the horizon for 2015?
Yeah, I would have to say 2014 probably we exceeded our goals. We brought on talented people like Christine DeGraff onto our team, which was just fantastic. 2014 was all about listening. It was about listening to our market. It was about understanding our market, and not just the DIY crowd, even although that was probably who we listened to the most, but it was the crowd that's outside of Google+, the small to medium businesses who are just thinking about it. They don't really understand it. So it was asking a lot of questions. It was doing a lot of real work and actually working with them and understanding their businesses and how Google+ could really integrate into their overall strategy. And we did a lot of Hangout on Air events. Of course, we had the ever famous Hulk Hogan and GoDaddy event, and of course we had with Stepan Afnanian, we did the G+ Small Business Spotlight. Where we got to interview great people from everywhere from Guy Kawasaki to T-Mobile to other small businesses who were being successful on Google+. So it was all about learning and building our products so we could adapt those products in a very scalable fashion to any kind of business. And we met that goal, I would say, pretty spectacularly. We now have processes in place that are basically replicatable across almost any kind of business niche. And as a business, you want to be able to be scalable beyond just yourself as a small business. So, and that was one of the goals that we had. For 2015, our big goal is now about content marketing. It's about continuing to expand outside of Google+ and really raise the awareness. And I'll just put a little quick plug here. We actually have just started up a campaign.
For an ad here?
It's a quick ad because we're kind of walking the walk. We're giving out basically, it's email marketing, it's content marketing in a sense, but we're giving a lot of value with it. We're giving people a guide that really explains all of the fundamentals of Google+, all of the things that we've learned, everything from circle management to how to handle your page and your profile, how to balance the two between that, all the way down to how to have a conversation and really authentically engage. I don't think we talk about Hangouts too much in there, but no, actually I take that back, we do. So, but it's all about educating now at this point, I think, more than anything else. So that's what we're looking forward to in 2015 is really kind of taking a look at that outside networking approach, marketing approach.
Jason, your business model changed somewhat in 2014 from where it was in 2013. Of course, a lot of that was where you were in your personal life, I would think. What happened with your business in 2014, and what changes, if any, or what are you going to be doing in 2015? And there's some marketing lessons to be learned by each one of your statements, and that's why we're getting into them.
Well, I think the biggest thing that I learned in 2014 was, and that's why I'm so concentrated on this topic of marketing and sales and the division between the two, specifically social media marketing, because I found that I was spending a lot more time in social than I was out really working on my business. Working, getting my foundations in place, and I was getting a lot of clients, but we weren't able to scale. We weren't able to go any further. We had hit a saturation point. We, hours for dollars, et cetera. All those topics. So the thing I realized that I needed to do was just back away from social for a little bit, and just really set down some real groundwork, some foundational pieces, including getting our bank accounts adjusted, getting our LLC put together, putting some staff on, getting some paperwork in place. That I think a lot of business owners, and I discovered there's this kind of vacancy in what we're learning online about this particular niche. We hear a lot about the people that are just getting started and the how-tos and the 10 ways and the tips and the tuts, and all that community is catered to. Then there's the group that's catered to with the guy that's standing and says, "I'll make you rich." He's got the gold chain, the 2 hot chicks, and a couple of yachts, and he's like, "Oh yeah, let's get rich."
Where do I sign up? Where do I sign up?
Yeah, right. So, but there's this vacancy in that company, that small business that has done good for themselves. They're ready to scale. They're ready to take on some staff or some outsourcers, and they're ready to move to that next level. Well, that transition place becomes a real challenge, especially when you're bootstrapping, of course. And so that's what I've really been focusing a lot of my energy on this year, is understanding, where the best place is for putting my bootstrapping dollars and my resources, my time and my dollars. And the things that I'm learning from that, I'm able to now be even more of an assistance to my clients, which helps us get a different type of client, and we're excited about that kind of growth.
It's wonderful that. And you brought up a great point. You brought up one that sometimes we as small business owners are so busy doing that we aren't spending enough time doing the things that we should be doing. And you hit it right on the head when you said, "Oh wow, now I'm a legal entity." Well, why weren't you a legal entity a year ago? You were too busy doing. And I'm not saying that negatively.
No. I think it's such an important point, David. I'm going to say one more thing, that my mantra, if you will, that I just kind of adopted in the last 3 months of 2014 was, if I'm too busy if I've got too much stuff going on and I'm too busy to be able to manage my clients effectively, then I'm too busy for marketing. I'm too busy for social. And I think that's what's so important is people. I understand the concept that we need to stay in the stream. We need to stay social. We need to keep active. We need to stay front of mind. I get all that, but frankly, being social is one of the easiest things about our business, isn't it? I mean, that's where everybody starts. Social media, right? You get in there, and there's anybody can go to any, just surf the web for a little bit, and you can become an expert on Facebook advertising, just by spending a month or two in John Loomer's website. Right, so my point is that what we need to do is going into social and learning social. That's the easiest of the business pieces, and so I think that people tend to go there and they stay there a little bit longer, and they build their growth, they build their company. But then I love what you said, Ben. I'm going to steal that quote. You engage and then disengage. That's so key, and I'll just pass it over there. Otherwise, I'm going to start one of my rants.
Well, I mean, and where Jason's coming from is 100% correct. I mean, as a small business, you have limited time, you've got limited resources, your mind is being pulled in literally 1,000 different directions. Am I doing something right? Am I doing something wrong? How are my vendors doing okay, if I have vendors? And, you have to have that ability to jump in, learn the fundamentals of something, but then be able to delegate. Whether you're delegating to somebody who's on your team or whether you're delegating and you're outsourcing it, finding really good partners to work with is the key to growing your business, basically. If you can't do that, you're going to be stuck in the sandbox, and you're going to be a solopreneur, and that's all you're going to be. You won't be able to grow. It'll basically be a hobby, not a business. So, great points, Jason.
I hear too from some of the small business bootstrappers that we do consulting with. I hear this a lot. Well, I'm not quite as good as some of the other people, and I'm a little bit shy to be transparent about where my failings are right now. There's this sense that, like, we look online and we see people like you, Ben, Steady Demand. I mean, you guys, I confess, there's been times where I'll look at your business and I'm thinking, man, I wish I was where Steady Demand was. And you just got to take the mallet and just knock it out. I'm talking to the small business owners, David. I'm talking to your listeners. And you just got to be able to say, I'm not them. I am me. Here is my business. And they went through a growth process too. They were there. And so embrace that moment to be willing to delight in that place of growth and don't be, because if you're too shy to say something like that, then that means I'm too shy to call up Ben and say, hey, Ben, help me out here, because pride's going to step in, and I'm not going to be able to ask the kinds of questions that I'm going to need to ask of the important people that are going to help me go to that next level, right?
Oh boy!
I think it also sounds, this might sound cliche, but don't be afraid to fail and learn from your mistakes. I really was hesitant about going into another business. I talked to David about this before, but I did web development with a partner for about 10 years, and I had no exit plan, and I couldn't get out, and I didn't want that to ever happen again. I want, there comes a time in most business life cycles that you no longer want to be in that business. That you now want to try something else, especially if you are entrepreneurial or the type of person that gets bored and eventually wants to move on and try something new. A lot of the entrepreneurial spirit, I think, is building something up, making it work, getting processes in place, and then trying something else. Whether you still keep your finger in that or not, but you do need to have a end of the, a light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak, that you can get out if you want out. And I was not able to get out gracefully of my first business, so I was just kind of like, thinking about remarrying. It's so hard to get out of the first one. You're really sure you want to do this again? You need to have that exit plan if, for your own sanity, I think.
You get out of that first marriage or the second one, you're guaranteed to take a loss.
And so when I was talking to my two new partners, I said, look, before we ink this in stone, I want to know what's the exit plan. How can I get out when I'm ready to go? How long is my vesting period? And when can I leave? What happens, to the business? And so we definitely put that in place.
That's a great. We're getting a little off, but that's okay. There's a lot of good stuff coming out. I never really understood the concept of exit strategy. When someone said to me, "What's your exit strategy?" I would automatically point to the ground. That's my exit strategy. I'm done. I'm out. But it is so very important for a small business owner to grasp that and understand that. You saw the downside of not having that exit strategy. You felt trapped, and you did whatever you had to do to get out of it. It probably cost you more to get out of it than you really wanted to, and aggravation or time or money or whatever it was. But we don't think about those things, and that's an important part of small business is thinking about that. I'm going to be making.
At the end of the day, David, you should be able to fire yourself. Your business should be able to run so smoothly that you can fire yourself and the business will continue to thrive.
That sounds like something Michael Gerber would say.
It's true though, and actually it's for the benefit of your clients, especially if you are a business that has clients, your service provider. Think of what's the exit strategy if you get hit by a bus. What happens to all of them? What happens to your clients? Are they screwed, for lack of a better term, or is there something that can be put into place quickly to where someone else can take over? that might just mean, you know, as far as having all the documentation, so somebody can come in and say, okay, what are the passwords? You know, who are our clients? You know, something. But you need to have something, so that, and once you do have that, if you think of it like that, like what would happen if I get hit by a bus? How can the company keep running? Once you put that in place, you then have an exit strategy, because then at that point you could sell it, you could give it away, you could do whatever, but you could walk away if you needed to.
Yeah, not to turn and put you on the spot, Ronnie, but we haven't heard from you for a minute. But you know, you're in kind of a difficult spot because you are the hangout helper. I'd love to hear from you if we can, David. If you don't mind, if you had another question.
Absolutely not. We want to hear from the hangout helper. We always want to hear from him.
What is you and your team kind of thought about this whole thing?
The thought right now is I'm trying to expand, or I am expanding into a product rather than a membership group only. And therefore that product has the ability to have its own legs, and it can have other people contributing to it if that's something that I want to work on in the future. Whereas the membership environment right now, it's actually growing to the point where it is very valuable, and the members within are helping each other, and I'm there primarily trying to make sure the content stays as accurate as I can help it with, and bring in the extra special options that I have. But there's other members in that community that can also eventually be tasked with making sure things are moving forward as well. So if I do get hit by a bus, those things can still continue on. And so the clients don't necessarily have to suffer, but there are some challenges. I mean, in this case, one of the keys is my knowledge level and my connection within Google as being, for example, a trusted tester, where I do beta testing with the software that we are using. And until or unless I find someone else that's willing to enter into that realm with me, that could be a loss when and if I get hit by a bus. Okay, so I don't know, we call it the bus strategy, right? Maybe we should stick another word in there so we don't just have two letters, because that doesn't sound too good. Accidental bus strategy. How's that? The ABS. So in essence, I am trying to move into the realm where it isn't just me, and find out ways to allow my skills to be replicated as well as duplicated and leveraged. And I think one of the ideas that I've been looking at for quite a while, actually, you'll hear this if you're following me at all over the next few weeks and months, is why did I come up with a product? What's it do? Why does it fit into the structure of what's going on? And I think that product in and of itself is something that can move forward without necessarily me having to drive it.
Well, Jason brought up a great point, Ronnie, that you are the hangout helper. And God forbid you should be hit by a bus. The hangout helper is gone, and then and I can say it because I'm a member of your community. The dynamic of your community, and I'm not saying this negatively, was built because of you and your personality and your knowledge. And that's a very great point. And the fact that you are developing a product, you know, kind of you can step away from that realm.
And one of the dynamic aspects of it, which I'm very pleased with, is I by nature am sorry to use the word, but a helpful guy. I help people learn these products and learn the ins and outs, and why does this matter to me, or should I just ignore it? That is being replicated from what I'm seeing for those that are in the Hangout Mastery. They can attest to that. There are many people now coming in with that very helpful spirit, and I think that's incredibly valuable, and I think that's actually something that's very common inside Google Plus overall as well.
Well, I saw it from day one. I mean, somebody had a question with something going on. They post a question, and within 5 minutes, there was somebody there to give them an answer to the question. And that was just a dynamic that I've never seen before, and a dynamic that's always been there. But once again, I think that plays to you and your personality and the whole thing, the whole community that you built. But that's a whole nother discussion.
I think the real take. I wanted to say one last thing, if I can, on
Sure.
this, and it'll be quick. But I think the real takeaway here, and specifically for your audience, your book, is that echoing what Christine said in terms of exit strategy. If you're at that place where you're just now getting started and you're just getting branded, look down the road, look 5 years from now, and think: do I want to brand myself as, me, as JasonWeiser.com, or would I be much better branding myself as the coffeecupconnection.com, whatever. Just think about what your objectives are, and just know that there are going to be challenges when you brand yourself as yourself. So just consider that.
Right, but I gotta now jump in on that. Okay. Many people come to social and say, okay, I'm a brand, I don't want to be known as a person. And I find that to be very problematic for them. That brand tends to fail in the social realm if they just come in as a brand. If you can come in as a brand and a person and work both, that's fabulous. But if you have to choose one or the other, I strongly suggest you start and create yourself as a person and then build towards the brand so that people can relate you, the person, into the brand, and then the brand can have its own legs. If you just start with as a brand, I have seen a lot of people have struggles with that. And I'm sure that there would be some other
I'll agree and disagree.
I'm going to have to say, yeah, that depends. I think it depends on what you're selling and what you're, I you go ahead, Ben. You take this.
But we're with small to medium size, small business. Isn't that what's your target market, David?
Well,
who's listening here?
What's my target market?
Yeah, who's listening to what we're talking about?
The folks that will hear it first are the 700 plus members of Dreaming with Entrepreneurs.
No, I don't honestly care where they are. I'm saying, what kind of business are they?
Oh, what kind? I would have to say that probably 95% are solopreneur types.
So in that
case, Ronnie's might be spot on.
So here's where I'll agree and disagree, though, is because I think that the problem that a solopreneur has is time. That's the first issue that they have. The second problem they have is being able to decide where to allocate that time effectively. So while I agree that they do have to be their own personal brand representative, they could also represent themselves as a brand at the same time. So, and I'll just bring that back to a practical example very quickly, because I know we only have a couple more minutes here, about how we, like one of our solo.
The rest of our lifetime.
But it's somebody that we work with. And they have a web design company. They are a solopreneur. They do all of the work by themselves. They do not do any outsourcing at this time. So they run their business page, and they also run a personal profile. And what we do for them is we help them nurture leads, basically, and gain followers. That's our sole job in coaching. So, but what we've helped them do is we've helped them understand the difference between their personal profile and how their business basically should engage with each other in a sense. So we use the business to nurture leads, and then we use the personal brand to actually fulfill those, basically, to actually build those relationships with those leads. So that's why I'm saying I agree and disagree. Because I wouldn't want to give the encouragement to a solopreneur to just say, be John Smith or Jane Smith and try and run their business that way, because that's not scalable. And
right, but it ties into the exit plan that Christine was talking about. It's not necessarily even just an exit plan, it's a growth plan.
But the difficult part, though, is where if somebody focuses all of their energy on building their personal brand, moving over to the actual brand side from that personal brand is extremely difficult. And
I'm going to push back. I'm going to push back on that, only because, Ben, I personally started out as a personal brand on social, and I built rather large followings in different communities as Jason Weiser, and I found that, and Christine, you and I had talked about this in an HOA before, how maybe sometimes people put the cart before the horse in terms of their social media marketing, build followings, build audiences, engagement, but you're not monetizing that stuff. And I found myself in that place, but what I did have was a very valuable asset. People knew Jason Weiser. You know what I mean? People recognize, they knew me, the person. So to that, I agree with Ronnie in that building phase. But then when it got to the point where I said, okay, I need to monetize this momentum that I have, and I made the transition to Wiser Sites LLC, even looking back, if it wasn't a play on my, it's a play on my name, but I can still separate Wiser Sites, it can be anything, really. It doesn't have to be, it's Jason Weiser. So, but my point is, when that part started, that's where you need to start to think about that exit plan in terms of just be aware that you're going to have some challenges when you become so intrinsically intertwined with your business that you are the business. And like you said, Ben, in your last sentence, there was scalability.
Wow. Yes.
We get a smart panel here, man.
No, well, we are small business owners. We're no different really than other small business owners. We have our own intellectual property, our own business models. It looks like everybody on the panel has a little bit different business model that is unique unto yourself and what it is that you're trying to accomplish with your business. And that's a good thing. And here we are talking about some very basic concepts of small business and how do we identify with those concepts and what we're going to do. I had to smile as I was listening to you all talk because I came in to Google Plus and I have built a brand that is me. So I'm listening to you, and maybe I did the wrong thing, but that's what I wanted to do. And so will it stop when I can no longer do it for whatever the reason? Maybe, but I'm setting up a foundation, and so that foundation might be able to continue on from where I am. And I guess the ones that will be most interested in that foundation are my sons. I hope. I hope they want to carry on my foundation, but we're gonna wrap up here. But I did want to throw something out that I wanted to talk about today, but we got off on this discussion, which is fine, no problem. I loved it. It's good information, good case studies based upon experiences, and that's all good things. I wanted to talk about negative SEO as a group. I don't know if you have a opinion. Shake your head if you have an opinion or a concept or a comment that you would like to make about negative SEO.
Which aspect?
Pardon me?
Which aspect?
Any aspect. It was something that I just read recently. I never paid attention to it. Okay, well, forget about it.
I mean, the worst form of negative SEO is fake reviews on Google local pages. Of course, there's always link negative SEO. But yeah, from the things that I see at least is with Google Plus pages, local pages being pushed out of rankings from bad reviews. But
it was just something I read in eConsultancy. I don't know if you folks follow them at all, and it was just an article on negative SEO. I found it kind of interesting. I'll send links to that story to you, and maybe you can make some comments on it. Okay, I want to thank everybody for an in real time kind of discussion. We got off on a tangent, but so what? There was good information, and I want to thank each one of you. I could not have put together a better marketing technology team, if you will, than the four of you, and I certainly appreciate the time that you've taken today to share your ideas, and we will keep in touch. Oh, by the way, we are towards the end of phase 2 of my digital video book. Phase 1 was individual one-on-ones with folks that I picked to do the chapter introductions. Then I wanted to take it to group discussions like we're having today. This is the 4th one we've had this week. I'm having one more tomorrow. Then phase 3, I want to have a large collection of one-on-one 15-minute discussions where we take a single question and talk about that for 15 minutes. So if any of you have a question that you personally would like to share, you will have the right of first refusal since you have participated in today's discussion, and I thank you very much for that. And we will see you in the next chapter. Next chapter will be tomorrow, and maybe the next time we see you will be the very best time. See you then.